There is a lot of horrific lore in the Fallout franchise. Most of it comes from the social experiments that were happening to the unaware civilians within the hundreds of vaults made by Vault-Tec. Even though all of these vaults have unique experiments done within them with their own crazy twists, Vault 11 stands out as one of the worst and has a very sad ending. But before we get into this video, if you enjoy Fallout lore videos and you want to see more just like this one, consider subscribing to this channel. Vault 11 is one of the 6 vaults found in Fallout New Vegas, and at first glance it will come off as just a normal vault. And as you battle rats, scorpions, and mantises, and read the terminals and look at the many posters on the walls, you will start to piece together what really happened in this vault. When the bombs dropped and the vault door sealed, the citizens living in the vault were greeted by the vault computer. This computer then told them that they would have to sacrifice one of their fellow vault dwellers every year, or else everyone in the vault would be killed. Of the vault's original residents, only the first overseer entered the vault, knowing that he would have to ask to sacrifice one of the vault dwellers. However, he was unaware of the true outcome if they had refused. Shocked and disgusted with the situation that they found themselves in, and resentful towards their overseer for neglecting to share the information before they were sealed in the vault, the residents chose the original overseer as the first sacrifice. This yearly tradition continued for the next 16 years, but sometime during those 16 years, the vault dwellers in Vault 11 eventually settled on making the choice of sacrifice through democratic elections, where the chosen individual would be elected as overseer, and at the end of their term, they were required to enter a chamber and submit to execution. The residents believed this would satisfy the requirement the computer gave and spare the remaining vault dwellers. The tradition of electing an overseer as the next sacrifice went on for 16 years, each year with a new overseer being sacrificed until 2093. During this time, several political powers known as voting blocks had emerged to influence nomination and selection, with the creation of pamphlets and posters to provide information and oversight of this process. The 6 main voting blocks, the Allied Service Workers Bloc, the Divine Will Bloc, Human Dignity Bloc, Justice Bloc, United Vault Technicians Bloc, and the Utilitarian Bloc, annually fought for power within the vault. These blocks would nominate and support overseer candidates based on their own goals, and they would decorate the walls of the vault with propaganda posters to garner support for an overseer prior to each election. Prior to the final election, members of the most powerful group, the Justice Bloc, led by a man named Roy, sexually coerced fellow resident Catherine Stone, threatening to nominate her husband Nathan as overseer if she refused. Due to their overwhelming influence as a voting bloc, this would essentially be a death sentence for her husband, and Catherine had no choice but to agree to their demands. But she was eventually betrayed by the Justice Bloc, who went ahead and nominated her husband anyways. Out of desperation, Catherine came up with a plan that would essentially kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Her plan was to kill the members of the Justice Bloc, which would remove them as a majority for future elections, and as a result of her crimes, she would guarantee that she would be elected as overseer instead of her husband, effectively saving his life. Her plan went off perfectly, and after word spread of her murders, she was elected as overseer. Catherine Stone's first act as overseer was to issue Overseer Order 745, which would dissolve the election process entirely. She decreed that moving forward, the position of overseer would be chosen at random using the vault's computer systems. The remaining members of the Justice Bloc became worried at the thought of losing control and influence over the vault population, so they secretly planned to stage an attack to regain control and resume the elections. The fighting that followed this secret attack killed nearly all of the remaining vault dwellers, until ultimately only 5 of them remained. The remaining 5 vault dwellers laid down their weapons and went into the sacrificial chamber together to confront the vault computer, and state their refusal to continue with the sacrifices. They were left absolutely horrified when the computer delivered this automated message.
Congratulations, citizens of Vault 11. You have made the decision not to sacrifice one of your own. You can walk with your head held high, knowing that your commitment to human life is a shining example to us all. And to make that feeling of pride even sweeter, I have some exciting news. Despite what you were led to believe, The population of Vault 11 is not going to be exterminated for its disobedience. Instead, the mechanism to open the main vault door has now been enabled, and you can come and go at your leisure. But not so fast. Be sure to check with your overseer to find out if it's safe to leave. Here at Vault-Tec, your safety is our #1 priority.
After learning the truth, the 5 survivors walked to the vault entrance where they made a record of discussing what they would do next.
Are we really gonna do this? It's open, we could just leave.
I couldn't, not after that.
We don't deserve to leave. A shining example. That's what it called us. But we did what we were supposed to. Not by a long shot. Anybody would have done what we did.
You ask me? That's exactly the problem. Now let's get on with this.
I'll go first. Wait. People should know what happened. They could learn from it. If there's anyone out there at all, I hope they never have to find out. Ready, Harry? Yeah. No, wait!
Four skeletal bodies remained in the entrance chamber for the next 200 years, while it is unknown what happened to the 5th survivor. So to summarize quickly, the Vault Dwellers in Vault 11 were told by a Vault-Tec computer that they would need to sacrifice one of their fellow Vault Dwellers every year, or else everyone else in the vault would be killed. Unhappy with this condition and angry at the Overseer for not telling them about the sacrifice, they chose the original Overseer as their first sacrifice. After this, they decided to have a yearly election where they would vote for a new Overseer that would fill the role of Overseer for 1 year, and at the end of that year, the Overseer would then be the yearly sacrifice, and a new election would start. This led the Vault down a path of blackmail, extortion, and corruption as political parties formed and then nominated people that disagreed with them as Overseer to remove them from the Vault, allowing them to gain more control over the Vault's population. It wasn't until 16 years after the bombs dropped that the Vault Dwellers in Vault 11 decided not to make the yearly sacrifice, after a war broke out within the Vault, killing every resident except for 5 unfortunate people. They would then go to the Vault computer and refuse to make a sacrifice, only to be told by the Vault computer that they didn't need to sacrifice anyone at all and it was just a social experiment. And by refusing to make a sacrifice, the vault door would be unsealed, meaning they could have refused right away and everyone in the vault could have lived peacefully, making the story of Vault 11 a very tragic story.